of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please take the roll.
Councilmember Cooper?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton?
Here.
Mayor Zielinski?
Here.
Councilmember Goodspeed?
Here.
Councilmember Szymanski?
Here.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Here.
Councilmember Pontiac?
Here.
City Manager?
Here.
City Attorney?
Here.
DPW Director?
Here.
Finance Director?
Here.
Public Safety Director? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda.
And that motion would be?
I would like to add an agenda item under new business. Would be number D, allowing action by the city council allowing action by council on this additional item of the purchase of an offer on a city surplus property, lot 2 on Monroe Street.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac?
Yes.
Councilmember Szymanski?
Yes.
Mayor Zielinski?
Yes.
Motion passed.
We'll be adding that motion under new business D. Public hearings, we have none. Citizens' comments on agenda-related items. Do we have any citizens that would like to comment on agenda-related items tonight? Please step to the podium, state your name and address, and limit your comments to 5 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Rosemary Dillon. I'm at 467 4th Street, and my comment is with regard to the marijuana micro businesses. My question for Councilman is that if you could just tell me one good thing that you think that these businesses will bring to our citizens in our community. The next question I have for you is, have you sought input from health professionals, from our law enforcement community, because they would be people who would have a better understanding of what that has brought to other communities that have allowed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, is there anybody else? Oh,
Yes.
Good evening, council folks, as well as our mayor, Roger Zielinski, city manager, city attorney, and Ms. Laura. On behalf of myself and Julie Raymond, I'm at 325 Lighthouse Way.
And I'm at 2546 Red Apple Road.
And in case you're not aware, we are asking, or just informing you of Paint the Town Pink 12. We're starting to sound like Super Bowl, I think, pretty soon. You know, we'll start doing Roman numerals or something. But what we want to do is just mention to you that once again, we thank you very much for your support of this very important community event by which we are able to raise level of awareness for the need for annual breast health screenings, the availability of the top-notch, state-of-the-art equipment that is over in diagnostic equipment that is over at Munson Healthcare Manistee Hospital. And our community has embraced this because our major impetus behind this is that we want to support those individuals who are currently undergoing treatment for breast cancer, as well as their family members, because we know that cancer affects all family members. Their celebration and Riverwalk will be on Thursday, October 3rd. We gather at the west end of River Street near the fountain, and our gathering starts at 4 o'clock, ceremony at 4:45, where we remember those who battled the disease. The ribbon walk is at 5, and we welcome, of course, gifts from the heart. Those gifts from the heart over these last 12 years have gone to the purchase, to help defray expenses for the purchase of a 3D digital mammography, which we have long before many of the larger facilities had those in the state of Michigan. We also purchased outright through the gifts of, from the individuals who are gifts from the heart. We purchased the breast biopsy chair, which is extremely important. This year, funds are going to be diverted to the bone densitometry unit, which of course measures the density of bones for osteoporosis, et cetera. And how do we honor loved ones? If you are walking down River Walk, you'll see very soon, a week after next, we'll be putting up the beautiful pink ribbons that adorn the lampposts, and they're going to be $20 for each bow that is purchased, and then we place the individual's name that is being remembered or honored right on the bow. In addition, there are some wearables that are going to be on sale over at the radiology department at the hospital. But we once again want to thank you all very much for bringing this for the 12th year, and we ask that you join us on that day. Please consider that. Julie and I are very proud of this wonderful community service, and join us, please. And thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Yep.
May we distribute?
Thank you.
Let's hope for nice weather.
Let's hope so. Yes, we're always optimistic, that's for sure. And even if it comes down from the clouds, we call it liquid sunshine.
There you go.
So you have to be positive.
I've already got my text.
We're prepared.
Thank you.
And we were just wondering too, when was it the last time that two ladies came before you with boas on?
Last year.
Right, it was last year. And they're crazy too, aren't they? Thank you again, very much.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak to agenda-related items? Please state your name and address and limit your comments to 5 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Michelle Hanson. I reside at 387 11th Street. The Planning Committee and council members have worked to formulate a plan for the marijuana industry to be placed in our community. Originally, it was decided that 3 medical dispensaries, 3 recreational sales, and 3 grow-op permits would be permitted in the city of Manistee. Recently, that was changed with an increase in the number of permits for marijuana sales in the zoned area of Arthur Street. The original plan of 3 medical dispensaries and 3 recreational sales permits being allowed in the zoned area of Arthur Street was an acceptable number for the city and surrounding community. Allowing the city to consider additional permits in the future after observing the effects of the marijuana industry in our community. That seems reasonable. You only get one chance to get this right. Other communities are suffering from the effects of the marijuana sales. There are a number of reports that are available, and I've looked them up. Since the effects of how the marijuana industry will impact our community here in Manistee is unknown, thank God for right now, is it better to proceed with caution, please, and make changes after we see the results to see how well this industry will affect our community, benefits or otherwise, and then determine with the experience of time and the experience it has on the effect of our police force, our hospitals, our emergency rooms, and the cost to our schools before choosing to expand. To start with an ever-increasing number of permits is not necessary at this time. A fact that Dearborn, Michigan, the largest population in Michigan, has 10, period. In Manistee, we are considering this ever-increasing number of permits. We have 22 properties that qualify for the marijuana sales use. That is 22 properties before these properties can be split into 3 or 4 or more. I would ask that the City Council please reconsider the permits, the numbers of permits, until we see what we originally had and if that works or not. There are no safety nets for this when it is unknown what this is going to do with our community with considering unlimited or ever-increasing number of permits. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? Seeing none, we'll move along to the consent agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are on the consent agenda and considered by the city manager to be routine matters. Prior to approval of the consent agenda, any member from council may have an item from the consent agenda removed and taken up during the regular portion of the meeting. Consent agenda items include approval of minutes, payroll, invoices, notification regarding next work session, consideration of the 12th annual Paint the Town Pink event. At this time, council can take action to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton,
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac,
Yes.
Councilmember Schmansky,
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski,
Yes,
Councilmember Cooper.
Yes.
Motion passed.
thank you. New business. Consideration of a 911 board authority appointment. There is a vacancy on the 911 board authority that needs to be filled due to a recent resignation. A mayoral appointment is needed to fill this vacancy. Mayoral appointments require a motion, second, and council voted support. At this time, council could take action to approve a mayoral appointment to the 911 board. I'd like to appoint Tim Kovic to the board.
I will make a motion to support the mayor's appointment.
Do I have a,
Second.
I have a motion and second, any discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Schmansky,
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski,
Yes,
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski,
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton,
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac. Yes. Motion passed.
thank you. Consideration of ordinance 19-23, amending chapter 867 recreational marijuana. The city of Manistee recreational marijuana authorizes up to 3 marijuana retailers and 3 marijuana micro businesses. Council discussed at its September 10th, 2019 work session, expanding the number of retailers and micro business licenses. The proposed amendment would increase the number of marijuana retailer licenses and micro business licenses in the marijuana overlay district to 5 for each. The proposed amendment also limits the duration of the provisional license to 1 year. As an ordinance, 2 separate readings are required. If this ordinance is introduced at this time, it could be adopted at the next regular meeting. At this time, council could take action to introduce ordinance 19-23, amending chapter 867 recreational marijuana facilities. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion?
I think we all know how each other feels.
I'll just make a couple comments. I would prefer that it was 7. The only reason I prefer that it was 7 is because we have, I don't know how to state this properly, there's some common principles or people involved with a number of the applications. So in other words, somebody has a plurality of the lots out there. And that number is between 4 and 5. So when I think of it that way, I think I would rather have it bumped up to number 7 so that we have a little bit more competition and a little bit more diversity as to the ownership. And I realize this could happen whether they applied or not, whether before or after, but that's my feeling on it. I do think at the end of the day, there will be the right number in that district. Whether we pass an ordinance for 5 or 7, the right number of, outlets will be there to support the business.
Well, I'll tell you, my feelings are like these ladies. I just disagree with us doing this. I think we should vote that down.
Anybody else? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Goodspeed,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton,
I'm going to vote yes.
Councilmember Pontiac,
Yes.
Councilmember Schmansky,
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski? Councilmember Cooper?
No.
Councilmember Grabowski?
No.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Consideration of applications to boards and commissions. The city clerk has taken action to advertise vacancies on the Compensation Board, Downtown Development Authority, Citizens Council, Harbor Commission, Historic District Commission, Parks Commission, Fay Commission, and Zoning Board of Appeals. Mayoral appointments require a motion, second, and council voted support. Nomination for council appointments do not require a second. After all nominations are made, council votes on the nominee until one nominee receives majority support. The following applications have been received. Historical District. 2 vacancies, 1 term ending 2/28/20 and 1 term ending 2/28/22. 1 member is desired to meet professional qualification standards for an archaeological architect, an architectural historian, or historic architect. Applicants must be a city resident council appointment. This is a council appointment.
I'd like to appoint Dennis Otto of 333 Fifth Street to the Historic Commission, term ending 2/28/22.
And I'll second that.
Okay, we don't need a second, I don't think. But anyway, any discussion on that? And please take the roll.
Mayor Zelinski?
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac?
Yes.
Councilmember Smansky?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Zoning Board of Appeal. 2 vacancies, term ending 5/31/22. Applicants shall be a representative of the population distribution and of various interests presented in the city. This is a mayoral appointment. I would like to appoint Catherine Levy.
I'll make a motion, we support the mayor.
A second.
I have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton?
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac?
Yes.
Councilmember Smansky?
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski?
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Goodspeed?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. New business. Under new business, we have consideration of a purchase offer on the city surplus property on Monroe Street. On January 2018, the city executed an agreement with Coldwell Banker for real estate broker services for the city-owned surplus property. The lot under consideration this evening was listed at $105,000. On March 7th, 2018, following negotiations, a purchase price of $90,000 has been offered. A major consideration in reducing the price is the cost of providing city water and sanitation sewer to the site. DPW Director Jeff McCullough has estimated it would cost between $12,000 and $15,000 to access utilities. At this time, council could take action to accept a purchase offer from Floyd and Rhonda Graham for city-owned property 15-260-703-17 in the amount of $90,000. Do I have a motion?
Yes.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I got one question. Where's the $90,000 gonna go if we pass this?
We passed it to, we made a
Streets.
motion.
Streets?
Streets, it's going to local streets.
All right.
Anything else? Anybody else? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Councilmember Goodspeed?
Yes.
Councilmember Smansky?
Yes.
Councilmember Grabowski?
Yes.
Councilmember Pontiac?
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Beaton?
Yes.
Mayor Zelinski?
Yes.
Motion passed.
I believe we're down to notices, communications, and announcements. A report from the Tree Commission and Downtown Development Authority. At a regular part of each council meeting is a report from a cooperating agency, organization, or department. At this time, Ms. Waterman will report on the activities of the tree commission and respond to any questions. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Janice Waterman. I'm the chairperson of the Tree Commission. We had 5 meetings this year. Our last one was September 9th. Our next scheduled meeting is for April 6th, 2020. We have gone over probably about approximately 170 tree removal, limb cutting requests. And that's our main function right now. Really don't have a whole lot to report. Any questions?
Did we ever do anything to thank Pat Williams for her service on the tree commission?
We have not.
I think that would be a nice thing for us to do. I know she served for a long time. To put that out there for us to do at some point.
Pat no longer on the board?
Pardon me?
Pat no longer on the tree commission?
Health issues.
Thank you for letting me know that.
Is there anybody else?
I was not aware of that.
But
Anything else?
On behalf of council, I just want to thank you for all that the tree commission does. Sometimes it can get pretty interesting, the discussion on what should go and what shouldn't go, and I do appreciate your patience and time. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, Ms. Berard will report on the activities of the Downtown Development Authority and respond to any questions.
I was told that I have to make this really quick, so if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to reach out at the end. I'm not gonna beat her record, but I'll do the best I can. My name is Caitlin. I'm proud and honored director of the Manistee DDA as of June of this past year. I typically do our annual report in January, but I asked Cindy if we could, as part of the Project Rising Tide of initiatives of communication and our brand training, I asked that I do 2 reports every year and to keep them in the middle of my 6-month goals. So my goals from June to December, September was right in the middle. But like I said, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to ask at the end. So I'm going to go through the goals today. I get a feeling that you kind of have an understanding of what the DDA is, what the district is, which is what I saw from the past presentations. So my slides will just go through reporting for the state, Spark, our American Cleaners property at the end of the corridor, the Design Committee, Project Rising Tide initiatives, and our Business Development Committee. So reporting for the state, so we changed our regulations in the beginning of 2018. For the most part, we're doing what they are looking for. I'm gonna put things together for our accomplishments, our contracts, our activities, our use of funds, but putting them onto the website, not a website expert, but that's the fun part of the learning things on the job. So in addition to this, I'm attending conferences, help me familiarize myself with the language, and I'm consistent contact with other DDAs and what they're doing, and with the Department of Treasury. So it's been a pretty smooth process, and we're ahead of schedule for where we're supposed to be at time. Spark is our entrepreneurship pitch competition that we'll be hosting in January of next year. So January 25th is our presentation. Applications for it open tomorrow. Similar to our year-round, or year one, we'll be doing our $5,000 reward, up to $5,000 worth of sponsored services in the area, and then a potential for a $5,000 revolving loan within the DDA. We're looking for business ideas that are interested in being located in the DDA district. Our American Cleaners property, when I came in, we had the MSU study. We were told we had this mixed-use property that we're kind of looking there. The performers weren't really coming out, so what are going to be some of the placemaking or activation ideas for the sites? Working in the middle of those placemakings, we received a letter of intent from Little River Holdings that is working with a private developer on the site. And we offered a memorandum of understanding that said we were willing to negotiate and partner with them during this process and activating of the site. Our design committee has 4 initiatives and some extra mini initiatives to do more of the infrastructure and maintenance going forward that we've been continually talking about. The design committee has moved their focus to our streetscape, our painting and our sandblasting of our garbage cans and our planters, capitals improvement plans for our river walk, and Project Room is our parking lot that is located on River Street, and how can we activate that in a little bit more lively manner. Well, this year is new. We're looking forward to doing fall mums. As our summer, spring flowers die off at the end of the year, we're extending the life of our activity on downtown by having flowers a little bit longer. And then we're looking into some other non-motorized placemaking ideas such as bike racks and signage. Our parts of Project Rising Tide so far, the largest parts have been our economic development strategy and our branding. The board has given me permission to move forward with our economic development strategy and meeting with our team forward and going through the tables that were indicated in the back of the plan. So the descriptions talk about placemaking and events, and the tables kind of say business retention, processes, visits. I'm meeting with both the Chamber and the Visitors Bureau now, and now we've kind of got a committee with the Project Rising Tide moving forward that we're going to start activating some of the actions that were placed in those plans by Joe. The branding, Ben came back to us. He had a couple ideas, but he came up to me at the end of the presentation and said, because of the lack of DDA involvement in the beginning, he is looking forward to our input moving forward. So we kind of said, yes, we want to support this branding. We kind of want to have a sister logo with what the city is already doing, and we look forward to seeing his results here in the near future. Our business development committee is also going strong. We're doing, I'm starting on my business and building retention visits. I'm going out and asking them how was your summer? What is your building looking like? What kind of resources or partnerships are you using? What kind of partners and resources do you need going forward? Where do you kind of see the DDA, and what are your expectations of us? So far, they've been incredibly helpful for me, not only being in this position, but being in Manistee. I've learned a lot about our businesses and how they're activating, and it's giving me a plan or a process to help support these businesses moving forward. In the middle of that, we're kind of doing our property inventory. I've got a variety of formats of what past directors had done for vacancies of both retail and housing, and we're trying to put that in one collaborative network. And Business Development Committee is also in charge of our Spark initiative. Additional projects we're working on, as you're fully aware, financial resources that we provide to people is our revolving loan fund, our partnership with West Shore Bank, that if you partner with the DDA, we work on this process and getting you approved for a loan. We also help with liquor licenses, and we have our facade grant. We recently, Spicer is officially done with their facade grant, and we just approved for a $10,000 facade grant for the Elks, $5,000 for one side, $5,000 for another, for painting, windows, and awnings. We're additionally helping with the trail survey for the planning department. They've reached out to us and asked for our input. If you have a moment, please see the planning department as they go through this process. They're looking for all non-motorized activations. So that goes from any types of trails to your bump outs, to your crosswalks, to your lighting. We are consistently working on our TIF plan. We reprioritized all of our action items, but the next two steps too are our maintenance agreement and our capital improvements agreement, which you will be fully aware of as we move through those processes. Our 3 events are in full force. We've got Hops and Props this weekend. Sleigh Bell is the 5th through the 8th, with the parade on the 7th at 5:30 p.m. And our Spark presentations are on January 25th. What questions do you have?
On the trail survey, has anybody made the suggestion that we should have an equestrian trail?
That we should what?
I have a horse trail, equestrian trail.
I am not actively involved with the trail project itself.
Okay.
They've reached out to the DDA for our involvement,
Right.
but the planning department for the county is hosting it.
Just throwing it out there. You know, before I became elected to city council, I used to own a horse. But I hear that still often from people, that they wish there were more places to rent. So,
I've got a couple of them. Anything happening with the art park? At one time, that was discussed that we could, see about, making the parking lot into a more attractive environment for people, and then put parking in that other property.
We don't currently have control over that site. So creating some conceptual plans for the swapping of the sites we can do in this process, and the design committee is looking at that, but until we have control of the site, we're limited to the conceptual plan.
Has there been any move to negotiate with the owners?
Yes.
The other thing is on the American Cleaners, is there any plan to at least do some window treatments in the interim? The only thing that's in the window right now is a condemned sign from the city, okay? And it just kind of looks bad that, one of our own properties is, again, it's all by, you lead by example, and I think we're not doing the best possible job right now. And even if we just put tinfoil or Christmas decorations, we would be better off, I think, with just the way it is.
I agree. We have talked about window wrapping. So we can talk about it again.
Well, I don't know if we want more wrappings on the windows like we do on the other store that's down the street.
Not that kind of wrapping, like the picture sticker wrapping.
But boy, I'll tell you, people look at that.
That would defeat the purpose. If you do have questions too, please feel free to reach out to the executive reports that are in each one of our packets.
Quick question. Property inventory,
Yes,
the purpose and what is the end result?
several end results. So I'm continually getting phone calls asking about the new community development block grants for mixed-use housing. I'm also getting calls on where are the vacant spaces for me to come in and move in my business. So at the moment, I'm using the property information packets that were provided by Project Rising Tide and Denise before. But when people come into the office and they say, I want to start my business, I kind of want to have a list of the available properties that are there, and then future developers that are interested in taking advantage of that MEDC Community Development Block Grant, letting them know what would also be available to them. But it's not only vacant, it's me being new to Manistee and knowing where my businesses additionally are. I'm going out on my I'm doing cold visits at the moment, walking into businesses with my business cards, but I don't know where their locations are. I don't have them on a map, I don't have them on an inventory. So it'll give me a good list of who my partners are gonna be.
When you do property inventories, are you looking at not only the business aspect, but how many apartments we have rented, how many people are living downtown, that type of thing?
I'm hoping to find that out during my retention visits.
Caitlin, can you tell us when we might see the TIF plan? Do we have a target date when council will be able to see it?
Soon. I am doing the prioritizing by the end of this week. The final, from that meeting that we talked about at the last council meeting, that's my due date to have it completed.
So you're thinking it's gonna be finished by the end of this month?
Yes, I would shoot for that.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. Concerns and comments. Citizens' comments. This is an opportunity for citizens to comment on municipal services, activities, or areas of city involvement. Citizens in attendance shall be recognized by the mayor for comments, limited to 5 minutes. Letters submitted to council will not be publicly read. Do we have anybody that would like to comment? Seeing none? Officials and staff.
Nothing at this time.
Mr. Saylor,
Nothing, Your Honor, thank you.
how about public safety? DPW? About finance? City engineer. Thank you very much. Did I miss anybody? Mr. Cooper?
I'm just curious if they are gonna do anything with that Sophia Street where that pavement's coming up. Right across from Manistee High School.
I asked, or I sent a text to Jeff today to ask him to provide some options and his thoughts on that.
I guess he stopped and took a picture, but I don't know anything after that.
No, I just communicated with him today, and I've got a follow-up on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I got a complaint on / suggestion from a citizen over on Sixth Avenue. Now that school's back in session, the school buses come down Sixth Avenue, and she lives toward the west end of Sixth Avenue, and she says it's only a matter of time between there's a collision between a car and the bus, and the potholes are not helping the matter whatsoever. So she's quite concerned about the condition of the street, and her suggestion is to think about making that end of it one way. So I'm throwing it out there for consideration, feedback from DPW, Chrysler, whomever.
Anything
That's
else? Mr. Cosby?
Just something to think about. We approved golf carts, but we never thought about parking. And I just think if we're gonna, I love it, love the idea, but I think maybe we should have parking spots for golf carts downtown or designated areas. I don't know if that's, we gotta change the ordinance, I don't know what we gotta do, but if we got one golf cart taking up a whole car spots, then they should have put 2 or possibly 3 golf carts.
That's it. Ms. Pontiac?
Got nothing.
Mr. Kowalski?
Yeah, Chief, I have the same problem that Ms. Beaton has about the buses. We have a couple of stops across the street from me, and we gotta get some stop signs up there or some police cars up there because they really come through in the morning. And even the buses go pretty good. And, we gotta slow them down a little bit, they're really coming. So we need to, get some action up there. The dial ride buses stop, not the school buses, but the dial ride buses. And then the cars are backed up, and then somebody tries to go around, and there's gonna be an accident there.
Mr. Smansky?
I'd just like to thank the Manistee County Suicide Awareness and Prevention Coalition for the event that they put on today. Again, it is really a serious issue. I don't know if people, I was real surprised to find out that suicides in our state between 10 and 23-year-olds has gone up almost 50%. In the last 15 years. And the national average is a little over 25% of suicides during that same time frame. So it is a growing concern. And again, I really applaud the fact that they're really reaching out and trying to get not just adults, but really focusing as well on our younger adults and students, that there is help out there. And if you're not aware, it's 1-800-273-TALK.
I would like to thank everybody who stepped forward tonight and spoke. We appreciate that, and I'm sure council members appreciate hearing. With that, I have nothing else. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Yep.
Got it? We're adjourned.
You remember the issue with the tip advisory? Is that something that we have solicited?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm just, we kind of talked about the fact that we don't have it.
Yes, we did.
But as long as we've made the effort.
Oh, yeah,
we haven't got one person.
Two. Yeah, Dennis Turhorst and Paul, I can never remember Paul's name.
Right, so now that you've been appointed, a couple things will be done. I will contact is it Molly? I think, I'm gonna have to look at the book, 'cause There's somebody different I contact for each committee, whoever is in charge of calling
Chip,
meetings and
just let me know when.
agenda. So I will send to that person, so they will contact you. I will also need you to come in the office for me. And say we can.
Just let me know.
First meeting you go to. Anytime before then, I need you to just repeat everything.
I wouldn't dream of it.
So yes, they will contact you and let you know.
Okay.
Right. No, we won't leave you wondering. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, so do you want me to?
Yeah, and George, George does we just talked
Yeah,
about
just,
it.
okay, yeah, and then when they get the title commitment, maybe ship that
They're
over
up
to
and
me.
started.
We could use them Lighthouse
Find
probably.
it, so.
All right, now that you got that one done, you can focus on our Renaissance Bar.
Okay,
Yeah, so
okay. Not a hurry, it's not a rush at all. Okay, all right.
That property, well, it was on the